Hi, I'm Joe Bauguess. I'm the inventor of the Mini Simmons surfboard. This happened in 2006. Actually, the board was shaped on 2 days, the 6th and 7th of September 2006. The project actually started in 2001. I was shaping for Mike Eaton at the time here in San Diego, and a fellow showed up with a balsa wood board, very damaged, looked like a piece of driftwood. And I asked him what it was, and he said it was an original Simmons board. And I said, wow, how do you know? And how can you tell? It's in such bad shape. And the guy said, well, it was made for my girlfriend in 1951 to go to Hawaii. So I asked him what he was going to do with it, and he said that he wanted to have it restored. And he asked Mike Eaton to do it, and Mike was really busy with his paddle boards and the rest of his surfboard business and wasn't really interested in tackling it. And I spoke up and said, hey, I'll do it. And he goes, well, who are you? And I said, well, I'm Joe Bauguess. I'm the shaper for Mike Eaton, and I have extensive woodworking experience and been building surfboards for over 40 years and done a lot of woodwork. And I've made a lot of wooden surfboards. And he said, well, okay, I'll let you try it. So anyway, I rebuilt the board for him, and it came out really nice, and Shannon glassed it. And we understand it's worth about $25,000 now, because it is a kind of a rare relic of Simmons' past, and it's very known because it was personally shaped for John Elwell's girlfriend, Marjorie. Anyway, John Elwell asked me to make him some replicas of that exact board in foam and fiberglass, which I did, and we had them painted to look like balsa wood with the falsa paint jobs, and they came out really beautiful. And I didn't see anything more of the board for a couple of years, several years actually, and then I was introduced to Richard Kenvin by John Elwell, and he told me that Richard had been writing these foam and fiberglass replicas and that he saw some use in modern surfing for the old style boards. And so I got more into studying what Bob Simmons had done, and I built a replica balsa wood surfboard, a replica of the Simmons, using John Elwell's board as a model. And after we got that model finished, he comes around and talks stories about Simmons. He's quite a character. And anyway, we were just shooting the breeze and comparing the balsa wood board that I had shaped using his board as a model, and discussing, how if it was true to Simmons' design and all of the contours and everything. And then John mentioned in passing that Simmons had made some short boards. And we asked, well, how short? And so he made some 8-foot boards, and then he actually made a 6-foot board. And Richard really perked up at this and said, wow, 6-foot board. He goes, what was it like? And John didn't really have a real good recollection of it. And I asked him what it was made out of, and he said balsa wood. And I asked him, well, did it work? And he said, well, it only had one fin on it. It was real wide, kind of spun out. And so they kind of rejected it. And I asked him if there was any written history about it, or pictures of it, or drawings, or anything. He said there was nothing. And Richard said, well, I want one. I want a 6-foot Simmons. And so I said, well, what do you want me to make it? What do you want it to look like? And he goes, well, I don't know. He goes, you're the shaper. That's your problem. And so I asked John. I asked him some leading questions, kind of like, what did the board look like, John? And John's kind of an older guy, and so he had kind of some vague memories of it. And so I said, well, did it have a wide nose like the board we have here? And he goes, yeah, I think so. And I said, what about the tail? Does it have this pulled in hip thing like all the Simmons boards? And he goes, well, I'm not real sure, but probably. And I said, well, but it only had one fin. And he said, yeah. And I said, well, maybe if it had two, it might work. So I went to work to think about making this short version of a Simmons board, and so I ordered a styrofoam blank, and I ordered it 6 feet long and 2 feet wide and 5 inches thick, and decided that I would sculpt the whole thing from scratch. And after I used the Simmons plan shape that I had used to shape the replicas of the 9-foot board. I had taken the template off of the original Simmons 9-footer, and I drew it on the blank, on this 6-foot blank, and actually it lined up fairly well. I didn't have to do a lot of blending because the rails were so parallel. And after I drew it on the blank, I called Richard and told him that I wanted him to come and look at it, and I had some ideas about what I'd like to do with it. And I said, you know, this is styrofoam, and it's 2006. It's not the 1950s anymore, and I would really like to make a futuristic surfboard using this plan shape as my platform, because I've been involved in windsurfing and kiteboarding and wakeboarding. I've built prototypes for Conley water skis for wakeboards and tow behind the boat knee boards, and I've got quite an extensive experience in hydrodynamic design, and a lot of it comes from these other disciplines. And I've noticed, because I am an avid windsurfer, that all the windsurfing boards have become shorter and wider over the years. And the newest thing, which is kiteboarding, all of the boards have progressed to much shorter and much wider than they began with. And so I thought, well, here's an opportunity to let surfing catch up with the other board sports. And I posed the question, why is surfing so behind? Why are we still doing stuff that we've been doing for 30 years? And nobody could answer that question. So I said, well, I'd like to lead the revolution for something new, and we're going to do an experiment. And so Richard gave me artist license to go ahead and shape the board however I felt it would work. And so I did, and I made up my own rockers and bottom profiles and contours, all the concaves and hard edges that I'd worked with in the past with other hydrodynamic disciplines, as it were. And the board, like I say, was an experiment from the beginning, and it turned out to be something that worked, and not just worked, but worked really well. And it seemed to be faster than most of the surfboards in production today, and actually easier to ride. So I thought, here's something for everybody. It'll make it easier to learn because it's a wide, stable platform. And then it's short. Once you stand up, you don't have all this board in front of you to trip over and try to make it turn when it doesn't want to. So anyway, this was the beginning of the Mini Simmons. And Richard asked me what I called it, and I told him I called it the Mini Simmons in honor of Bob Simmons, whose plan shape I used as the platform. And every board that I shape today, up till today, still says Simmons Bauguess design on it in honor of Bob Simmons for his insight and all of his study in hydrodynamics in the past. And like Bob Simmons, I didn't just draw my experience from surfing. I drew it from other crossover board sports. And Bob Simmons drew a lot of his information from airplanes and boats. And that's where he came up with his surfboard designs. He studied aerodynamics and hydrodynamics to quite an extent. And his boards were really way ahead of their time. But a lot of people didn't really realize this while he was alive, unfortunately. And so I'm bringing something back that he started a long time ago, although I don't know how he would have done it today, but this is my take on it, and it seems to be taking off. Here it is, 2010, and everybody that I know of is experimenting with it and making some kind of a model of it or a version of it because it works. And so maybe finally I will get some credit for being the guy that started all this. And also, these boards, the Simmons boards, I make in many different sizes. You can get them in, I normally would like to make them all in EPS, expanded polystyrene, and epoxy, because that is more environmentally sound material. And also I would make them in any size that anybody would care for. I now have a removable fin system that is compatible with the epoxy boards. It's just come out with by FCS. And I have a fellow that makes all my wood fins that now makes custom fiberglass fins that fit the FCS system. So the options are almost unlimited for the customer as far as sizes and fin selections. And also, if I do the boards in polyester, they're available in whatever color combinations you can possibly think of. And since I've been doing this, this is my 47th year as a professional shaper, and I have made boards in every size and type that is probably imaginable, and I'm in the business to do just that for anybody who wants anything surfboard-wise or hydrodynamic-wise that's offered. And you can find me down here in San Diego at Superior Glassing, and my little shaping room is now known as Joe's Garage. I was accused of being a garage shaper recently, and so I saw the humor in it, and my friends and I decided that I should just put a sign up and turn my shaping room into a garage. But anyway, I have a website, joebsurfshapes.com, and you can look me up there and see what I have to offer. And I'm down here shaping every day, usually 6 days a week. I live in Costa Rica, but I'm here from normally from May until October, the end of October. This year I came in April. I'm leaving on the 3rd of November. And I'm available for consultation. You want to talk about board design, or you want to order a board, feel free to come by and see me. You can always call me. My phone number is area code 619-300-4758 in the San Diego area. And I do ship internationally. I ship boards to Japan. I've just been requested to ship one to Paris. Just sent one off to New York last week. Got to send one off today. And anything that you have questions about regarding the Simmons type boards, or any other type boards for that matter, feel free to drop me an email through my website, or look me up on my website, or give me a call. Thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you in the future.